Hi, and thanks for logging on to the Daily DVAR Halacha. And here's a brand new Halacha for you. It's for Sunday, 25th of October, and the 7th day of Cheshvan. Today we're going to touch on the question as to whether it's okay to take granulated sugar and to put it into your tea or coffee, hot water, and like under what circumstances. So let me step back for a moment and tell you that there are large discussions all over Shas about the topic of yesh bishul achar bishul. Could you be guilty of cooking something after it has already been cooked? Maybe since it's already been cooked, if I throw it into hot water, it's not going to cook again because it's already cooked. So after long, lengthy, complicated halachic discussions, it would boil down to this easy situation for you. The halacha is pretty clear that if a food is dry, then we're safe to call that under the category of ein bishul achar bishul. That if it's a cooked and now dry item, then you won't have to worry about reheating it. A classic example of that would be you probably see this in a lot of situations where they'll take something like, let's say, a noodle kugel that was cold, and on Shabbos morning they'll put it on something like not right on the oven, of course, or something where you might be adjusting the fire. But if you put it right on top of something where there's no adjusting, like let's say there's an urn going, and you just put that cold noodle kugel on top of the urn, there are no restrictions. There's no adjusting, no fear of adjusting any of the fire or anything. The noodle kugel is already cooked, so to reheat it by just putting it on top of something warm, like the top of the challah pot or the top of the urn, then that would be okay. We don't like to do that with liquid items, but halachically we consider permissible to do that with dry food. That's a general statement, although there are many, many details I'm not going into and not even 100,000,000% clear myself. But on simple things like reheating a dry kugel, you're safe. Okay, so now that brings us back to the question as to granulated sugar going right into my hot tea. Granulated sugar sure seems like a dry food, right? So should I be able to put it like right into anything piping hot? So it's interesting. According to some, because the granulated sugar dissolves into the water, some say that it could have the strict status of being viewed as a liquid. It's not really a liquid, but it sort of falls back into liquid form in that situation. So bottom line, can I put my granulated sugar into my tea or coffee? So I'll take you to a Mishnabura, which says this. He's on a discussion here about salt, and at the end of that sif, he says here, v'chein betzukar, that's sugar, mutter mehai taima, it is permissible for this reason, litzno bakli rishon, to put it into a kli rishon is something, a very hot, something that was just on the fire. La'achar shaviro mina eish, right after you take it off the fire, you should be theoretically allowed to put it inside. V'yesh shemefakfkin bazeh, but there are some that are strict about this. V'tov lihizar mekli rishon l'chadchila. And therefore the Mishnabura here concludes that when it comes to sugar and how to treat it, and whether are you allowed to put it in something that just came off the fire, he says it's better not to do that. So, end of story. You could put granulated sugar into a cup of tea, but you can't put it into something that's still considered a kli rishon, something that's hot and just came off the fire. So once it's poured out of that situation into a second cup, and now it's sitting there as your cup of tea waiting to have its sugar added, then yes, it seems safe. Sorry I took you on such a long route, but the conclusion is you could put granulated sugar into your hot tea on Shabbos when it's in the kli sheni, not the cup that came right off of the fire, but something that's secondary to that, then yes, you could put your granulated sugar into that. Thanks for logging on. Log on again tomorrow for more. Bye-bye.